Hey guys, Ray from loveyourrv.com. Today's project is to replace these old set of ratty OEM stairs that we have. They're kind of getting a little long on the tooth, loose, a little squeaky. They live right underneath the rig, so they tend to take a lot of weather and slowly will start to rust away. I've had to do a few repairs on them over the years. One of the rivets broke up here, so to put a bolt through there and a lock nut on the other side. Also, at one point they actually broke on this corner, and I put some lag bolts through there to hold them in place. So they're getting long in the tooth. What I'm going to do is replace them with a new set of steps called the solid step. So as luck would have it, LCI, Lippert Components, contacted me a while back and offered to send me out some products for review. They kind of gave me a choice of what products I would like to review, and high on the list was new steps. So this is the steps I chose. Give you a closer look at the specs here. They come in different varieties. This is the 3 steps. There's a 2-step and a 4-step. Also, this is the 26-inch width. They also have a 30-inch width. Depending on how high your rig is, that's how you know how many steps you need. Mine sits right around in the 3-foot mark, so what with 3 steps? Some of the taller rigs they're making nowadays in toy haulers may need a 4-step, and maybe some of the travel trailers that sit a bit lower may only need a 2. But what these do is they actually fold up and fit back in the doorway when you travel, so they don't actually sit outside, which is nice because they don't get all the road debris and water hitting them. Should last a bit longer without rusting. You can see here they have aluminum treads on them, and then they also have adjustable legs, but we'll get into that once I install them. First thing I'm going to have to do is get rid of these old ones. I'm going to have to crawl under there and unbolt all that out of there, and then install these steps. Just looking through the manual here, I got 2 choices. I can either screw the steps in, or I can use these screws and nuts on the other side. Depending on your arrangement will be your choice. They say if you have a good wood flooring you can use screws. If not, they call it laminate flooring. You may have to use the screws and bolts, and then they come with a backing plate. So this thing kind of sits in your rig, and you bolt or screw this to your floor. Anyway, first job is to get those old stairs out of there. First thing, I unscrewed the flashing there, and also undid underneath, bent it back a bit. So I need to get access in here on the other side of these bolts is a nut. There's 4 that hold the assembly in place, so I'm going to have to get back in there, undo those nuts. Also, you can see where my repair is. I'm going to have to take those off right there. I actually put lag bolts right through from the floor and dropped it down there because I had a break in the hanger here. It actually cracked right off and the whole stairs were coming down, so that was kind of my fix for it. And it lasted many years, so ended up being a good fix. Anyway, I'll pull all those bolts and we can drop this whole assembly out. And I should have wore gloves already with that sharp flashing they put underneath. There we go. Now I have the protective gear after I cut myself, and gets very upset when I cut myself. Okay, old stairs out of there. Nice big empty space underneath. You can see there. They actually sent me a storage box that can mount in there. So once I get these stairs installed, in a future video I'll be putting a storage box under there. So stay tuned for that. Before I go any further, I'll just show you that fix I did when I had the bracket up here, the anchor point up here snapped. Just give you a quick look underneath there. There we are, that's looking up from the ground, and you can see where it snapped. It's a problem with the stairs when they're on the outside during your travel. You get a lot of stuff kicking up You know, get a little salt up in there and pretty soon it rusts out. So when that broke, our stairs got extremely saggy on that one corner. So just held in a couple spots. So I put in that angle bracket and that solved the problem. Didn't have a whole lot to work with when I was on the road, but I had a bracket, so I cut that off, screwed it into the side there. Then I put a couple like long lag bolts, drilled some holes through the wood there. And like I say, that held up pretty good. Okay, let's clean things up and we can start installing the new solid steps. Okay, so the next step, get it, step, is to make sure the stairs are level, put them up against there, and you can use the feet to set everything up as level. Then we're going to screw in a couple screws right at the top here. Going to go in here, and we're going to drill some pilot holes along there, which I've already done, and then drill 2 screws in. Then we can put the stairs in and attach the rest of the screws. So just going to lift this up here. There we go. So at this point you got to watch it because you have to adjust this section here. There's a couple bolts that you undo, and this thing slides back and forth to adjust to the width of your doorway. So it looks like that fits in my doorway okay, which I'm happy because my doorway is quite narrow. It measured around under 25.5 inches, and they called it a 26-inch stairs, so it fit. I think anything over 24 inches would probably do it. Anyway, you can look up the specs on the LCI store website, and they have the manuals and stuff there. I'll link to that. Anyway, so I've set that, and this goes in place, and you can see it locks right on this lip here. So once it's locked in place, it's not going anywhere. And when you want to undo it, you just move that and lower it. Anyway, what I have to do is install the rest of the screws along here, drill the pilot holes and install them. In the manual they tell you which drill bit you need. If you're going to use the number 10 wood screws like I'm using, it's a 5 32nd drill bit. If you're going to use the 10-inch bolts, then it's a 13 64th drill bit. Go. Looks pretty good. So like I said, if you wanted to use the long screws here, then this would go underneath and then you would bolt it up in place. It comes with nuts and lock washers, that sort of stuff. So I think I'm going to be okay with the screws there. I have a fairly thick wood floor. Next trick is to see if actually the doors still work. Try the screen door first. Seem to close okay. Yeah. No problem there. So the instructions say you should go inside and do a rattle test, make sure nothing's going to come loose. We'll do that. Not too bad. Should be able to deal with the rattle. I can always shim this. It's got quite a bit of room in between there, probably because you know, we just have this crappy foam here, but some rigs will have a nice rubber seal, so yeah, I'd be able to do something with that and then get rid of that rattling, so it'd be less, we won't hear it, but better not to have it super rattling, work things loose. Looks good though, looks good, I'm liking it. So the bottom legs can be adjusted quite radically if you're on unlevel ground or something like that. There's just a couple pins on each side. They have a little ball bearing on them. Adjust it to whatever you like. Easy peasy. So as you can see, I find it pretty easy to put down and lift up. Not too heavy for me at all. But I had Anne give it a try, and it was a little on the heavy side for her. She was kind of struggling, so I'm going to install a shock absorber. Lippert sent me out an assist that put in right here. It's got like a spring or a shock or something, and it helps you lift this up with basically one finger so that it's not so heavy for people that aren't too strong. Well, there we go, all installed and ready to use. I'd say it would probably take about a half an hour to an hour time, depending on how difficult it is to remove the old stairs. As far as weight, it's about pretty much equal to what I took out, so I didn't really add any weight to the rig. And I think it's going to be good. Get rid of those springy steps. They also sent out an accessory floor mat here. Solid step all-weather floor tray. Kind of can collect the water or whatever. Kind of, you put your stairs in, you know, might be some debris or moisture drip. So rather than getting it on the floor, it just falls into this mat. Anyway, we'll use them and I'll give you an update on how I like them later in the summer. Till next time, Ray from loveyourrv.com. Once again, thanks for watching, everybody. Cheers.